The Tigers are in it for the number one receiver in the portal.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate. We're joined by Auburn message board legend, the Charlie 5, also known as Kyle Rush, the man over at the barn, auburn.com. Auburn's looking at a ton of offensive linemen. I think it's somewhat interesting. We'll get your thoughts on that as well, Kyle. An update on the portal quarterback situation. But first things first, let's talk wide receiver. I mean, Auburn has had a few wide receivers already enter the portal. Obviously, they lose KLS. What are they going to do to replace this production? Well, you got Eric Singleton Jr., the Georgia Tech star wide receiver, entering the portal, and he's already got a visit set up for the Auburn Tigers.
That's big on multiple levels, but number one, typically the first visit it's opposite of high school. Typically the first visit is the one you want, and Auburn showed in the spring portal, but the winter portal, organization and things like that were sort of maybe questionable at best. And then all of a sudden, I think he's not only the number one receiver, I think he may be the number one overall player in the portal at the moment.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to push back on that.
Yeah, and so you get him in to visit on Wednesday, and he goes to Ole Miss shortly after that. So you
can't let him go to Ole Miss. You can't.
Absolutely not. If you want him, it just depends. If you want this kid, you better not let him go to Ole Miss, because I think Ole Miss is sort of laying in wait to really pounce on several guys in the portal. I think they'll do a lot of damage with some Alabama guys too. But this is a guy they really want, and why not? I mean, in 2 years, he's got 1,400 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns in a Power 5 conference. I mean, that's pretty much everything you want when you're looking for proven ability, and Auburn needs another proven guy. Like you said, another KLS is a little bit smaller, but maybe a little bit more explosive type receiver. So
he's shifty, he's explosive, and you can move him around the field, which I think is a little interesting. So he played 677 snaps for Georgia Tech. That is a ton.
That's a lot.
That's a ton. In fact, you don't get there by just playing offense. So, I mean, he did play special teams as well. But when you look at his offensive snaps, 213 snaps in the slot, 426 out wide. So, I mean, they moved him around formationally, which is interesting because I do think there are some questions on, like, what do you do at outside receiver if Perry Thompson takes that step forward? Or what do you do at slot if certain things don't fall the right way? What if Bryce Keene's not quite ready? So I love the fact that they're pursuing the best player in the portal currently, like you said, and also a guy who could fill multiple needs if they need him to.
And then you go look at his game log against Georgia, the one where they went to 22 overtimes.
Right.
8 catches, 86 yards, a touchdown, and then he even had some rushes out of the backfield. So, like, they were making him a very focal part of the offense, even against the best of the best, against Georgia. So, and he can do it against it doesn't matter if it's ACC competition, if it's SEC competition, the kid can play. And I think if you want him, you need to get him locked up on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much context that goes into it that we'll never fully know, but I'm sure they have like an amount of like what his value is in the back of their mind, or hey, maybe it's already been somewhat discussed, and that's why he's hearing what Auburn has to offer. But if you think he's worth it, you have to lock it down. You have to, or you're probably going to lose him to Ole Miss. I mean, we've said a lot of things about Lane Kiffin, both good and bad, depending on when you listen to this show, but he clearly navigates the portal well. You cannot let an explosive offensive weapon in the portal get to Oxford and sit down with Lane Kiffin. You got to, if you want him, you got to knock it down on Wednesday.
And you mentioned it, like there's a give and take for everybody. So, like,
Yeah.
If you go big for Eric Singleton, does that cost you a little bit somewhere else? So like you definitely have to weigh that out, and you have to have a plan before he gets here, because you got to know, is this a guy that you're just going to go push for right away? There's a lot of receivers you're looking at, but I don't think, after looking at the ones that Auburn's reached out to, there's nobody quite as proven and it's like a ready-made, ready-to-go guy like Eric Singleton. So if you want him, we've said it multiple times, if you want him, you better get him.
Yep. Another receiver that is set to visit Auburn, Horatio Fields, the former Wake Forest wide receiver, not as productive, but very large.
He's a big guy.
Very large. Yeah, 6'3", 205. It looks like he plays bigger than that, which I'll take. Also wears number 5, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, I think I could see why Auburn would want Horatio Fields.
Oh.
Incredible name.
Very good name. I watched one. I searched highlight films. Okay. I was trying to search highlight films. I saw one clip. They were playing Clemson.
Yeah.
And he got a 50-50 ball with, and you know, Clemson's got essentially SEC defensive backs.
Sure.
So,
right.
Best of the best. And you go up 50-50, high point it, make the play, and score a touchdown. He had a touchdown against Clemson, I think, this year. I turned it off. So that's all I need to see. Can he make the 50-50 plays? If he's going to be big like that, he's got to be the possession receiver with good hands. And I know it was one play, but I think he could be that guy. And if you're trying to get, if Eric Singleton is more of your all-around guy, and you need one guy that could be sort of your, possession guy, red zone guy, just that type of receiver.
Yeah.
Horatio could be a really good. He could fill that role.
Yeah, and the ratio of snaps Horatio played at Wake Forest last year.
Say that again really fast.
No.
The ratio of snaps Horatio.
Oh, the ratio of Horatio. Yeah, I already messed it up.
Yep.
The ratio of snaps outside for Horatio Fields.
Is there another name you can create with ratio in it? I don't think so. I think Horatio is the only option.
For a second.
I think Horatio is the only option.
Yeah, if you want ratio in a name, I think that's it.
That's it.
So once again, if this is a guy you want,
yep,
go and get it. No, he played 541 snaps out wide and just 114 at the slot. So played both, but primarily an outside guy. Once again, 6'3", 205. I like Horatio Fields a lot as well. How much do you buy into the success KLS had last year impacting this pitch, or do you think it's going to vary from kid to kid? Do you think this is more about NIL and like, how can I get to the league? How much tape are they showing of Keandre Lambert-Smith on these guys' visits?
I would imagine NIL is going to be a large portion of it, but gosh, how can you not show it? How can you not say? Because I feel like if I'm going into a new offense, a new team, I'm going to ask, how quick can I pick it up?
Right.
How quick can I get in the mix and make stuff happen? And it's like, boom, here it is. This guy not only was here 1 year, he showed up in spring. You're going to be here. He showed up in June. You're going to be here in January. Like you could have 2,000 yards receiving, essentially. No, obviously not. But like you got that much longer to gel, that much longer to work with whoever they bring in at quarterback, and that much longer to learn the offense. If this guy can do it in that shorter period of time, what could you do coming in January?
There's another element to how quickly they scheduled the visit for Eric Singleton, and it's tied to the quarterback. Let me ask you this question in just a moment, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Kyle, can you imagine wagering anywhere other than with our friends at FanDuel?
Can't do it.
No. If you think Auburn basketball is going to win the Natty, where should you put all of your money on?
FanDuel, I guess.
Yeah, FanDuel.
Futures.
FanDuel. That's right. They've got futures. They got parlays. They've got everything. Hey, and right now, new customers can bet $5. They get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel app gives you access to all the stats and data and info you need to make the most educated bet that you can. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's over at FanDuel.com. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Alumni Hall. Can you imagine buying a Christmas gift for the Auburn fan in your life and not getting it from Alumni Hall?
You're being irresponsible. You're probably
Somewhat
overthinking
selfish.
it.
Yeah,
selfish.
it's like,
You're overthinking it. Don't do it.
Yeah, just go to Alumni Hall. They've got 3 great physical locations. One in Auburn, it's off of College Street. One in Opelika, it's in Tigertown. And one in Huntsville I've never been to, but apparently it's fantastic.
And if there's not one near you, you're out of luck, right?
No.
No.
But I'm so glad you asked.
Oh,
I'm so glad you asked.
Eat it up.
No,
Get
you
it.
can go to alumnihall.com. It's that easy.
Boom.
It's that easy. So take care of yourself or the Auburn fan in your
If you're
life.
in
I don't care.
Vietnam-
What's up?
If you're in Vietnam, you can order from Alumni Hall.
Why'd you pick Vietnam?
I don't know. It's the most farthest place.
Just
random
farthest place you could think of. Got it. Yeah. No, I'm sure they ship there. Alumnihall.com. Check it out. Thank you to Alumni Hall for sponsoring today's show. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. So Eric Singleton Jr., the top receiver in the portal, as of right now, the top player in the portal. You visit Auburn on Wednesday. I just have a hard time thinking Auburn can lock it down with a receiver early in this process unless Auburn knows who their quarterback is gonna be. Is that responsible to say, Kyle?
I think it's irresponsible not to say, to be quite frank.
So you think they've got a plan?
I mean, why?
That plan is not Ashton Daniels, by the way.
Like, sure, exactly. He's not the main plan. He's part of the plan. You got to have 4 quarterbacks. It doesn't mean you hate Walker White. It doesn't mean you hate Deuce Knight. Doesn't mean Ashton Daniels is the guy. You got to have 4 guys. So you're bringing in Eric on Wednesday. So what's the pitch? What's the pitch if you don't know the direction you're going in? I wouldn't be surprised if they got him on the phone with whoever it's going to be. I know that's probably illegal, but and who knows, that person?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
At
if
this
it is or
point in time,
not.
I don't know who could be in the portal between now and tomorrow. So I'm with you. I think they have an idea. They have a plan, and you don't really. I just don't know. Even though you got to bring him in first, you got to get the first visit. I just don't know that works. I don't know that first visit works if you don't have something.
Yeah, you're almost wasting it. You're almost wasting it. And like Ole Miss is going to have some questions, but they probably know who their guy is at this point. And like you saw him at, in small sample size, and he's like, all right, look pretty good over there. So
they have proof of concept though. So like, more than likely whoever they bring in, I mean, who was there? Trey Harris had like a billion receiving, or whoever it was had.
Kind of reminds me of Trey Harris a little bit too.
He does. He has a lot of similar. They're very the same size and same game. But I mean, he had like 1 billion yards receiving. So I mean, they have proof of concept they can sell. So you feel confident that no matter who they bring in, and you could say, well, that Auburn did the same thing with KLS, but I think it's still going to be dependent on who the quarterback is. And I feel like you got to have some sort of plan, some sort of direction to make the most out of that visit on Wednesday.
Yeah, KLS still knew who the quarterback was when he committed, though.
True.
So I think it's different. So to me, I don't know, just put the tinfoil hat on. Like, I think them scheduling the top receiver in the portal this early says, hey, we've got a good idea of who our quarterback is next year.
I don't even think that's that far-fetched, to be quite. I don't think it's that I don't think it's that tinfoil hat, that conspiracy theorist, that hopium, whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's that far-fetched to think that you bring that guy in without some sort of plan, to sell him on. I just don't think you would do that. I think you would take your chances with the second or third visit. If
you didn't have the plan. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Because you don't want to blow it on the very first one.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of expect you to push back on that a little bit.
No, not at all.
So you already kind of said a lot of what I said yesterday, and it's weird how many people are pushing back on this. The 2 portal quarterbacks. You've seen it too. Like, guys, it's weird,
what are
right?
we doing? Like, is this our first time ever watching football and understanding how you build a roster?
I don't know if it's the portal. I don't know if it's. I mean, the tie that Auburn folks, a lot of Auburn fans are making from getting a second portal quarterback to not liking Walker White or Deuce Knight is the weirdest jump, man.
That's strike one.
It.
That's strike one. And then strike two is thinking that this is it. This is the only, this is your decision. I mean, the
Ashton Daniels, is that his name?
Ashton Daniels. Yeah. Like,
so many people are like, oh, he's going to do whatever he can to find Peyton Thorne 2.0. And I'm like, that's not what this is. That's not what this is.
I know it's weird. And then you put it on Twitter, and then you poop on it on Twitter. Like, Auburn ran off a receiver last year that scored 4 touchdowns at Kentucky, and scored a bunt and went off against Louisville. Like, we ran off a kid because he put out an Auburn offer and we didn't think it was good enough. We didn't think he was good enough, and we ran him off. Yeah, what are we doing?
Oh my goodness.
Think critically when you see stuff like this. Think a little bit critically. Okay, instead of reacting, ask yourself questions like, okay, this guy has not great numbers. Hugh's got a lot riding on this season. He just let Hank Brown walk. We only got 3 quarterbacks. Is this the guy we're rolling with? It doesn't make a ton of sense.
Probably not.
If this is the guy we're rolling with, maybe he's just brought in because he's had varsity experience, starting experience in a Power 5 conference for a couple of years. And we're going to go get one of the top quarterbacks that we keep talking about.
And let me ask you this. What do you think is better for Walker White's development? Knowing that he's going to be the backup no matter what, or competing with a guy who's got 33 games under his belt at Stanford for the quarterback 2 job? Like, which one do you think actually helps him more?
Totally. I mean, I totally agree with you. The Ashton Daniels situation helps him out exponentially. They're kind of similar. They got some similarities in them as far as arm strength, athletic ability. Yeah, I mean, it's totally going to help push him. And then how about this? Let's play worst case scenario.
Okay.
You bring in your number 1 guy, game 3, season-ending injury. You got Ashton Daniels, who you can go to, who is an incredible runner, who you're going to have really good receivers for him to throw to, and the athletic ability to do the things that he can do. Like, you can figure out ways to try to salvage the season. You know what I mean? And then you got Walker White too. So I
think Walker is better than him by the time the season starts, but whatever. Like,
the room is so much better. The room is so exponentially better.
It's just weird when the argument applies. And I'll admit, I've been inconsistent with this logic when we talked about, this is Ronan Chambers versus the way I talked about, like, when we added Fanaje Gote, because I was high on Fanaje Gote. Like, worst case is its depth, which is what it was. And then Ronan Chambers, I didn't take that stance, and admittedly I was wrong, because people are like, worst case is its depth. And then I did it a few months later. This is the same situation. Like, worst case is its depth. Yeah. And, there's a section of folks that think, okay, the 4th string quarterback should be Sam Jackson. And I'm like, your 4th quarterback is playing quarterback in practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're moving Sam Jackson to quarterback, which I do not think is happening, but if you're doing that, you've got to go get another receiver then.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, no,
I'm glad we're on the same page on that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I've been blown away by the response of several episodes, and sometimes, like, I miss the mark. Sometimes I miss it, but just seeing the reaction to that yesterday was one of the more, like, shocking reactions that the Auburn fan base has had to anything. And I'm like, are we crazy?
Yeah, I'm looking in the mirror like, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Because it's glaringly obvious to me that this is a good thing to add this kid to the room. Like,
now I do understand, like, if you're, I guess, like, the average Auburn fan maybe that isn't in it every day, they see, quarterback, is this our guy? That doesn't make sense. Like, if that's from that perspective, I get it.
Well, if you're that person, you need to be a member at thebarnauburn.com because you would already know. You'd already have the deal on this whole thing.
As soon as the Hank rumblings were happening, we said, "Hey, watch out for Ashton Daniels to be the backup."
For sure.
Thebarnauburn.com. Never be caught off by Scoop ever again. Thebarnauburn.com. You can sign up for $1 for the first month. That gets you through the portal window. What are we doing?
You better do it quick though, because that's going away.
Is it? I feel like we've been saying that for a month.
It is. Maybe by the end of the week, that's gone.
Okay. Yeah. So hop over thebarnauburn.com. All right. Auburn's looking at a bunch of offensive linemen. And I think it's all well and good, but I am confused a little bit about one aspect of this. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks. Charlie 5, Kyle, you love meat.
Okay, can't get enough.
You love meat so much. We all love meat.
I would eat only meat if I could. I guess I could.
You could.
There's nothing stopping me.
You could. Well, Omaha Steaks will help with that. Omaha Steaks will help. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite. And right now, you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners. What's that?
Half off meat.
Well, and then also, if you use promo code COLLEGE, you get $30 off your order.
My gosh. It's basically free meat.
It's free meat for your enjoyment.
Extremely affordable meat and tasty.
Shipped right to your door. It's decadent. It's delicious.
Marbling is fantastic. Check it out.
Yep. omahasteaks.com. Use promo code COLLEGE. omahasteaks.com. Use promo code COLLEGE for $30 off. Are you kidding me? Thank you so much for making us your first listen every single day here on Locked On Auburn. So Auburn's pursuing a bunch of offensive linemen, and you've got a lot of names in our mega thread at thebarnauburn.com. But I'm just kind of blown away. Like, we all talked about offensive tackle being in need. And you've listed Carver Willis as a guy that Auburn's pursuing in the portal at tackle. But it seems like they're being pretty aggressive. Carver Willis, former Kansas State offensive tackle. But they're being pretty aggressive at getting interior offensive linemen, and I just wouldn't have guessed that.
I wouldn't either. And like, what's funny is we have some mutual friends, and that there could be already like essentially a commitment in place with an interior offensive lineman. Yeah, we don't know exactly who that is, but like, I'm with you. Like, why would you start there? It seems like the great need is at tackle. And really, I mean, I'm sure since we've recorded, there's probably been 10 other guys going in the portal. But like you said, Carver Willis from Kansas State's like really the only one that's sort of got Auburn ties that's like a true left tackle. Your guys like Wendell Moe Jr. And Joe Thompson, like you mentioned, those are both interior guys. Wendell Moe's like a 6'2", just Samoan monster, left guard, like left or right guard. He could play either way. But yeah, tackle. That's strange to me. The length, you don't really have those guys. And I think if you ever wanted to, if you really wanted to keep Dylan Wade, if that was in the docket that he could come back, I think you got to bring him back as an interior lineman. You can't bring him back as tackle again, because that's just fish out of water type stuff. You would have a bunch of guys.
Dylan has to know, like, if he's going to the next level, it's as a guard. So, I texted Mike Luke, who's our Arizona host here on Locked On. I said, tell me about was it Mo? Yeah, Mo Wendell.
Wendell Moe.
Wendell Moe. You're totally right. You're totally right. A lot of juniors.
Theme. It is a theme.
Okay, that's cool. It's like, if you have a dad with the same name as you, we want you in this portal class. Says he's an NFL talent. Under Jed, he looked like a big deal and was getting third-round grades. Fell off a cliff this season, but most put that on the coaching staff. He's a nice pickup for y'all if he goes there.
Everybody from Arizona fell off a cliff this season, except for T-Mac. Everybody on that offense fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean,
except for T-Mac.
Yeah, that yeah, I mean, I don't think Arizona is necessarily trending up with their new coach, but
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even like their left tackle, they call him Big Jonah. I forget his last name, but he was like a first round lock, and then like he played so poorly because the offense stunk that there are like questions on him now. So I'm not really looking into it that much. Like his traits are there. It makes sense. My question is, if Dylan Wade comes back, where does he play at?
Yeah. Because you got Jeremiah Wright. I mean, competition is great, but this kid's a starter. Like this kid, you know what I mean? Like he's a good player.
I think Auburn has 2 starting caliber guards now.
I agree.
It's like, what's the pitch?
I wonder if they almost feel like maybe one of those guys isn't coming back. Almost like maybe or at least they're planning for that. Especially if I don't know, this guy could be it. He could be the one that maybe they have the agreement in place with that's going to commit when he comes. I don't know. I don't know who it is. But like if you already have one in place with a guy like an interior lineman and you have 2 guys that could be starting guys, what is the pitch?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Or does Dylan Wade could play right tackle, I guess, if you had to.
Dylan Wade at right tackle. I don't love that.
I don't love him at either tackle. But I mean, I would much rather him be at right tackle, I guess, than at left tackle. I'm just shocked.
I'm remembering this right, that last offseason, the big thing about Dylan Wade is he wanted to play guard.
Yes.
Like he wanted to play guard, and the coaching staff's like, say less. Let's go get a tackle and scoot you in. That's why Percy Lewis felt like such a big deal. And that's obviously that didn't work out. But I almost like Tyler Johnson more at right tackle.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why this makes sense. Basically, I'm trying to figure out why this makes sense and why we don't have, instead of 3 and 4 interior guys, why don't we already have 3 and 4 offensive tackles assigned to Auburn?
I mean, I'd love to have all of them. I just don't think it makes sense. Like, because this guy's not going to be cheap. If he's an NFL offensive lineman, if he's a 3rd round draft pick, like you're going to have to spend money on that. So I don't know. Like this isn't a Ronan Chambers situation.
No, this is you're going back and finding another Dylan Wade, but you're hoping like a true left tackle. Like you got to have a guy. You got to have a guy. And right now, Auburn's only tied to one as of now, as of the time we're recording, only one guy. So unless there's kind of like we talked about quarterback earlier, unless there's already some sort of plan in place, tackle's pretty important. That's what everybody says. Hey, quarterback's great, but if you don't get some good tackles, you're going to be in trouble. And at least early on, I mean, today we're recording this. It's the first day of the portal. So, you know what I mean? So it's not ready to fire everybody and the end is nigh. You still got some time, but yeah, it is kind of strange. I remember
last year, you and I were kind of surprised at how long it took for everybody to actually commit. So I think that changes. I think think this week's going to be cooking. You think that changes because of money?
Strategy. No, I think just strategy overall. I think Will Redmond, you're just a lot more prepared.
Why does the player care about that though?
It's not so much that the player cares about that; it's that the organization leads it to that. That's it.
But I don't feel like that was just an Auburn thing, though. I felt like that was a trend.
Maybe so. I'm thinking just about Auburn. So maybe kids committed later as a whole last year, but I don't know, man. This year seems pretty crazy. It seems like there's going to be a lot more enter with no contact tag type stuff, and I kind of know where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
After today and tomorrow, I think that's kind of how you're, especially some of these big dogs you're hoping to walk late with quarterbacks and stuff like that. Yeah. Kind of feel like you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great to see.
Hopefully it's for Auburn.
Whenever like we talk about Will Redmond and like him scouting the portal and stuff, I picture him in this room that's just got TVs everywhere.
And
he's sitting in this, like, not a throne, but a really cool looking chair
with a cat. And he's just like this.
I hadn't really thought about the cat yet.
With
I get it. Yeah.
An evil little look on his face, like just going through everybody's film.
Do you have a cat?
No, I don't.
You don't. Okay.
I don't. But
the form there was incredible.
I mean, I'm just thinking like, an evil superhero is what he's like coming into
An evil superhero.
Yeah.
All right.
Like what do they call it? An anti-hero or something. He's coming in. He
Like
could be
that's a
good.
song.
He
That's
could be
Taylor
good. He
Swift's
could be
song.
bad, but he's going to
Yeah.
he's going to come steal your guy.
Okay.
Love
All
it.
right. How can people check out everything you've got going on?
Absolutely. Like we said, subscribe to thebarnauburn.com
Yeah.
and get caught up with all the portal stuff. Get in our portal mega thread. It's a ton of fun. It's multiple pages deep right now. So you got a whole week to get caught up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then obviously you can catch me, the Top Button Podcast, everywhere you get a podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Barn Auburn, where you get multiple types of shows. Zach and Brad Law, me and Zep Jasper talking basketball, and then my show obviously there every single day. So a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff going on. You never know who's going to pop up on the show as well.
Yep. Hey, please like the video. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.